In a world where magic reigned supreme, Raiden was the laughingstock of Arkanos Magic Academy. His spells fizzled, his incantations stumbled, and his wand might as well have been a twig. "There goes Raiden the Weak," they'd say, not even bothering to lower their voices. Kane, the Academy's star pupil, would often trip him in the hallways, sending Raiden sprawling across the polished marble floors. The students were divided into groups, tasked with navigating the treacherous depths of an ancient labyrinth. Raiden found himself paired with Kane and Lyra, a cruel twist of irony that made his stomach churn. Lyra, once his childhood friend, now turned her nose up at him, preferring the company of the popular crowd. Lyra's betrayal hit him harder than the cold stone floor as he tumbled down a hidden pit, plunging into the depths of the dungeon. Their laughter faded as he fell, replaced by the terrifying roars of the monsters that awaited him below. Every day was a struggle, a constant reminder that he didn't belong among the gifted and talented. Little did he know, fate had something extraordinary in store for him. But as the monster's claws came within inches of his face, instinct took over. He raised his hand, and a blast of dark energy erupted from his palm, vaporizing the creature instantly. The other students whispered and snickered as he passed. But Raiden persevered. He studied late into the night, practiced his forms until his muscles ached, and dreamed of the day he'd prove them all wrong. It was during the annual dungeon training session that everything changed. As they descended into the darkness, the air grew thick with the stench of decay and the echoes of unseen creatures. With each monster slain, his power grew exponentially. Levels flew by in a blur of flashing lights and newly unlocked abilities. Gone was the scrawny, timid boy who'd been pushed into the pit. In his place stood a figure of power, his eyes glowing with barely contained magical energy. He mastered spells that would take normal mages years to learn in mere hours. As he gasped for air, he realized he was surrounded by glowing eyes in the darkness. Teachers who had dismissed him as hopeless begged to tutor him privately. But Raiden had little interest in their sudden change of heart. Panic set in as he scrambled to his feet, fumbling for his wand. This was it, he thought. Was it mere cruelty, or was there something deeper at play? And how had this hidden system awakened within him? Whispers of a secret society within the academy, one that sought to manipulate the flow of magical power for their own gain. Word spread of the prodigy who had emerged from the depths of a dungeon with unprecedented magical abilities. Soon Raiden found himself fielding offers from powerful mage guilds, royal courts, and even shadowy organizations promising untold secrets. Could Kane and Lyra be part of this group? Had they seen him as a threat, even in his weakened state? Raiden smiled, feeling the thrum of magic coursing through his veins. From weakling to legend, his story was just beginning. And oh, what a story it would be. This was how he'd die, alone and forgotten in the bowels of a dungeon. As he stepped off the tower, magic swirling around him to carry him gently to the ground, Raiden's eyes gleamed with determination. The weak student was gone, replaced by a force of nature ready to reshape the very fabric of magical society. He pushed himself harder, mastering advanced spells and forbidden techniques that even the most seasoned archmages feared to attempt. The legend of Raiden, the Abyssal Archmage, was about to begin. Kane led the way, his confident stride a stark contrast to Raiden's nervous shuffling. The betrayal he'd suffered was just the beginning of a much larger conspiracy, one that threatened the very foundations of their magical world. Lyra brought up the rear, her eyes darting suspiciously between her two companions. He would become the most powerful mage in history, not for glory or revenge, but to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. He would unravel the mysteries of his hidden system and use its power to bring justice to a world corrupted by greed and dark magic. They had barely reached the second level when Kane suddenly stopped, a wicked grin spreading across his face. "You know, Raiden," he said, his voice dripping with malice, "I've always wondered how long you'd last down here on your own." Before Raiden could react, he felt a sharp shove from behind. Raiden hit the ground hard, the wind knocked out of him. But as the first monster lunged at him, something extraordinary happened. Time seemed to slow, and a translucent blue screen materialized before his eyes. Words scrolled across it. Hidden system activated. Rear class unlocked. Abyssal Archmage. Experience multiplier. X 10,000. Raiden blinked in disbelief. Was this some kind of hallucination brought on by fear? Stunned, Raiden stared at his hand. He'd never cast a spell that powerful before. The blue screen flashed again. Level up. New skill unlocked. Void Blast. A grin spread across Raiden's face as understanding dawned. This was real. This was his chance. As more monsters emerged from the shadows, Raiden stood his ground, a newfound confidence surging through him. For days, Raiden fought his way through the dungeon's depths. By the time he found his way back to the surface, Raiden was unrecognizable. The academy was in an uproar when he returned. Students and teachers alike gaped as Raiden strode through the halls, his presence alone causing the very air to crackle with arcane power. Kain and Lyra, who had long since returned from the dungeon, paled at the sight of him. Impossible, Kain stammered, backing away. You should be dead, Raiden. Fixed him with a cold stare. You're right, Kain. The old Raiden did die down there. But I've been reborn. The headmaster himself came to investigate the commotion. His eyes widened as he sensed the sheer magnitude of Raiden's magical aura. By the Ancient Ones, he whispered. What happened to you, boy? Raiden smirked. Let's just say I found my true potential, sir, and I'm just getting started. News of Raiden's transformation spread like wildfire. Students who once mocked him now scrambled to curry favor. His mind was focused on one thing, uncovering the truth behind his betrayal. Why had Kain and Lyra tried to kill him? As Raiden delved into his studies with newfound vigor, he began to piece together a disturbing picture. The more Raiden learned, the more determined he became to expose the truth and protect others from suffering the same fate. His rise to power did not go unnoticed beyond the academy walls, but Raiden had his own path to follow. He knew that his journey was far from over. As he stood atop the highest tower of Arkanos Magic Academy, gazing out at the sprawling landscape below, Raiden made a solemn vow. The wind whipped around him, carrying with it the promise of adventures to come. Little did the world know, the betrayal meant to end Raiden's life had instead given birth to its greatest protector. And somewhere in the shadows, those who had orchestrated his fall trembled, for they knew that their days were numbered.